Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Well, it's kind of a big news day, folks. Don't worry, I've got it all for you. We've got impeachment. I've got developments in the Spygate case. I've got economic stuff. I've got a huge announcement. I've got a whole boatload of material today. Don't go anywhere throughout the show. I promise you. The stuff we found on Spygate is going to make a whole lot of sense in relation. Spygate, why is that? It's impeachment today. No.
Oh?
It's the same thing. And it'll make a world of sense afterwards. All right, welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Joe, how are you today?
Hey, it's everything you need to know in 1 hour.
In an hour.
Okay, I've always wanted to do that. I'm doing well, man.
I know you are. You're doing great. I love your campy game. Joe's from the old era of radio. He brings back ushers in the old days. I love that. We have a big announcement, Joe and I, as well. I'm going to make today, followed up by another, hopefully bigger announcement tomorrow. This is going to be a week of big announcements. The announcement is this. It's announcement number 2 in a 3-part series of announcements. We will be adding, don't worry, it will not impact the regular show lineup during the week, our 5 shows we do every weekday, adding an interview segment show. Yes, we will be launching on Fridays, that where you can listen to our show on Friday, and then Friday afternoon you can listen to our interviews. Our upcoming lineup is, let's just say, solid. And you can listen to it throughout the weekend and Monday morning before our show launches. You are going to love it. Hopefully, we'll be announcing our lineup very soon. Now, if you want to get a head start, a head start on the announcement of the lineup, go to Bongino.com/newsletter and sign up for our newsletter. You will get a head start on our lineup. Who's upcoming? You're going to want to know first. It's the only way. And you'll get a launch date for our new Bongino report, which we will take on the Drudge Report, who has turned left. So that announcement made yesterday. Check that out. All right, there we go. Yeah. Preface the show. Let's get right to it. Today's show brought to you by our buddies at eToro, eToro.com/Bongino. Who's eToro? Why do I care? Why am I promoting eToro on my show? Ladies and gentlemen, I've had an interest in cryptocurrencies for a long time. Listen, the Fed is whittling away the value of our dollar every day. I mean, we recently saw Bitcoin prices rise after China devalued its currency too and global markets tanked. We can see how cryptocurrencies are becoming a genuine alternative to gold as a hedging strategy. For me, the best place to trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is at eToro.com, but here's why. eToro, eToro, is a smart crypto trading platform made super easy. It's the world's #1 social trading platform. It has over 11 million active traders and facilitates, get a load of this, $1 trillion in trading volume per year globally. That's a lot. You can access the world's best cryptocurrencies. They have 15 different coins available. They have low and transparent fees, advanced charting features, which I use. As I said before, I was not the most knowledgeable about cryptos. I know how they work, but where the charts were, where they were going, it helps to go in eToro and check out their advanced charting features. Build your own strategy there. Try before you trade. They'll give you a virtual portfolio with a $100,000 budget. There you can try it before you trade. Never miss a trading trend with charts, pricing alerts, and social feeds. Sign up today at eToro.com/Bongino, eToro.com/Bongino. Check it out today. All right, Joe, let's go. Getting right to it in the emotional portion of the show, which I try to stay away from because I like to do facts and data and not get into emotional stuff. But having said that, the impeachment fiasco farce on the House side started today. Adam Schiff opened up just minutes ago in the morning. I was glad Johnny Ratcliffe tried to shut him down a little bit. But Schiff is a documented sleaze, a lying fraud, and the lead Russian collusion hoaxer, a fairy tale telling, Aesop's fable building anti-Trump lunatic who has not told the truth at any point in his life. Adam Schiff is a discredited, known conspiracy theorist who should never be taken seriously. And the fact that he's the face of this impeachment fiasco is prima facie evidence that this thing is a farce and was never meant to be taken serious by serious people. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean every word of this, the new rules are in effect. Remember the new rules show? Remember the old rules and Robert's Rule of Order? You know, we have to show the Democrats, Joe, we're above it all. That we stand on the moral high ground. That we're better than them. Let them character assassinate us and do all. We're just going to sit back and take it. We're going to show the American public and the media that we're better people. And hopefully the hack mainstream media will come around and recognize one day, Joe, one day that we are better people than them.
I remember that.
I'm going to try something here. I haven't tried it. I say that is colossal bull. I just used the mute button there for the first time.
And you did it well. That was pretty good.
Well, if it didn't work, we'll find out. Paula's like, I'm not really sure that worked. We'll see, won't we? The new rules are in effect now. You want to scrap? You want to get in the boxing ring with glass molasses to your gloves, kickboxer style, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and you want to crack us open with your glass-covered, mitts, then we're going to get the glass too. It's time to fight. Now, I want to remind you about a little something here. Remember the Kavanaugh hearings, what the Democrats did when Brett Kavanaugh, now Supreme Court Justice? Yeah. Remember what they did at the opening of the hearing to confirm Kavanaugh? Because the Democrats have no morals or ethics, and the rules don't apply to them. Remember, we're going into the boxing ring obeying the rules. No rabbit punches, hit above the belt, 3 rounds, don't swing after the bell. The Democrats don't care about any of this. And we're like, no, but if we obey the rules, the ref will be really nice to us. Don't be an idiot. Here's what happened during the Kavanaugh hearings when the lunatic Democrats tried to stop the whole thing before it even started. Remember this disaster?
On the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Regular order, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
I extend a very warm welcome
we have not
to
been
Judge
given
Kavanaugh,
an opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing
Ashley,
on this nominee.
Their 2 daughters.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague, Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman,
Judge
we
Kavanaugh's
received
many law
42,000 documents that we haven't
and
been
everyone
able
else
to
joining
review
us
last
today.
night, and we believe this hearing should
I
be
know
postponed.
this is an exciting day for all of you here,
Mr. Chairman,
and you're rightly proud
Mr. Chairman,
of
if we cannot be recognized, I move to adjourn.
the American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move
get
to adjourn.
hear directly.
You want to play ball, folks? Now it's time to play ball. Shut this down. Shut it down.
Yep.
Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Oh, we can't do that. We may offend the media. The media. Shut it down. Shut this down. Shut this whole fiasco down. I don't care what you got to do. Introduce motions. I don't care what kind of crap rules you have up there. It's a cesspool nobody gives a damn about anyway. Full of lunatics and losers outside of a few decent people. And I mean very few. Shut it down. New rules. Shut it down. Shut it down in the House. Shut it down in the Senate. This is a farce. Oh, the country's going to collapse. What? We don't have a country left anymore. We have a bunch of lunatics in Washington, D.C. trying to rip apart every shred of the Constitution and burn it in a s'mores roasting campfire as they sit around with their SJW liberal justice warrior snowflake friends trying to ravage our free speech and every big R constitutional right we have left. Shut it down. Grow a set and shut this garbage down. This is You know what it is. Shut it down. Get a monkey wrench and throw it right into the machinery of this garbage. You want to play hardball? It's time to play hardball. Oh, they may censor us. An ethics investigation. Are you serious? Who cares? We're losing the country. Shut this crap down. Shut it down. Now, let me get into some more substantive stuff. You're swearing in Taylor and George Kent now. Bill Taylor, by the way, the chargé in Ukraine, who has no direct knowledge whatsoever of the infamous quid pro quo deal they're trying to impeach the president over. None. No knowledge of it at all firsthand. Not even secondhand. He heard about it fourthhand after being told by Gordon Sondland that there was absolutely no quid pro quo according to the president. That's the guy. That's their main witness now. And George Kent, who many people believe, by the way, George Kent, who was working it for us in Ukraine, many people have reported may have been involved in the do not prosecute list of people connected to Soros and others. Those are their two key witnesses. Shut it down. I want to get to a great piece. And folks, trust me, don't go anywhere. When I tie this to the Spygate stuff next, your head's going to spin, Reagan. I don't mean Ronald Reagan. I mean Exorcist Reagan style, William Peter Blatty. My head doesn't, unfortunately, go. That would be pretty cool, right? Telescoping head like that. Paul is laughing.
That would be cool.
Right? Come around the other side. Excellent piece in the Federalist. Can't recommend it enough. Again, if you subscribe to my newsletter, Bongino.com/newsletter, I will email you these articles every day. We got thousands of new subscribers yesterday. A heartfelt thank you. David Marcus, 5 reasons a Senate trial would be a nightmare for the Democrats. Remember, ground yourselves for a minute. This impeachment farce going on now, the House has the sole power to impeach according to the Constitution. Impeachment does not remove the president from office. There is then a trial in the United States Senate where they determine removal or non-removal, presided over by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Having said that, Marcus lists 5 reasons this Senate trial will be an apocalyptic disaster for the Democrats. These lunatics. Let's go to reason number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, who controls the Senate? Oh, that's right, the Democrats. As Marcus writes, in the 6 weeks thus far of l'affaire Ukraine, the House Democrats have been in complete control. They control the House, the Democrats. They have chosen witnesses, whether testimonies in private or public, to set the rules of questioning and the schedules. In all these areas, their hand has been firmly on the wheel. It's hard to overestimate what an incredible advantage this is. Bingo, David Marcus. The fact that sleazeball, documented liar, and conspiracy theorist fraud, Aesop's fable spinning Adam Schiff has been in charge of the leaks, of the nonsense, and of the spinning of witness testimony, who have never nailed down what this quid pro quo is, and there's no one with any direct knowledge of a quid pro quo at all. The fact that they've spun this into a hapless, feckless conspiracy theory media narrative is remarkable. It shows their skill in lying. Yes, brilliant is right. They are brilliant marketeers of BS. That all changes when you get to the Senate. That's not being run by Schiff, Nadler, Pelosi, and the other liars. Senate's run by McConnell. Now listen, McConnell and I have had a lot of beefs. A lot. But one thing, Joe, you and I both know. When it came to Kavanaugh, the reason I opened up with that, everything has a meaning in this show. When it came to Kavanaugh, the Democrats tried every piece of shenanigans in the book. They tried to shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
And McConnell and the Republicans stayed strong. They got Kavanaugh through, despite all their flaws, and gosh, there are many with this Republican Party, spending ourselves into an abyss. They did not fold. They did not fold one time, Joe. And they got Kavanaugh through. McConnell, so far, and I'll get to this in one of these other points in a minute, has shown no evidence of folding on this either. Once we control the process, this is going to get delicious on the other side. Takeaway number 2, why this Senate trial will be an apocalyptic disaster for the lying conspiracy theory Democrats. Oh, hi, Hunter Biden, that's right.
Oh.
Among the advantages the Democrats have had in the House inquiry is that of approving the witness list. The Schiff won't allow any Republican witnesses. You know that, right? Yeah. So although they allowed Republicans to request witnesses, the authority to approve them is entirely the Democrats in the House, not on the Senate side. Oh, no. No. Now we get the witness list. Let's get Hunter Biden up there about these massive payments, allegations that were made in the media that payments were made to him to influence his dad. Oh, yeah, while he was vice president. In other words, allegations of massive Democrat corruption that we already know this quid pro quo hoax, whistleblower hoax, are meant to cover up. I can only imagine that line of questioning for Hunter. Hunter Biden, what skills exactly do you have in natural gas? What skills do you have in Ukraine? What legal skills do you have to advise a major natural gas company in Ukraine about processing and selling natural gas? Oh, you have none. Hunter, what exactly do you think they were paying you for? We noticed you said in an interview with one of the major networks a little while ago, which you did, that you suspect that you were given a lot of opportunities in your life because of your last name. Is this one of those opportunities? And why would they want your last name, Hunter? Oh, those questions would be great in the middle of a presidential campaign where his dad's a front runner, wouldn't it? Oh, this could get good. Let's go to reason number 3 about why this will be a complete show for the Democrats once it goes to the Senate. The senators are on the campaign trail. Oh, yes. You have 3 major Democrat candidates for president right now on the campaign trail running them for president. 2 of them are polling in the top 3, Warren and Sanders. It says the Iowa caucus is on February 3rd. February 3rd, only a few months away. Piece goes on, so let's be generous and say Santa gives the Democrats articles of impeachment by Christmas. We'd be looking at all the month of January at least taken up with the Senate trial. Wow. Wouldn't that be special? A Senate trial that lasts for maybe 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, right while the Iowa caucus is going on, and Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders, 3 of the top-tier candidates in the Democrat field, are all pulled out of Iowa, New Hampshire, and otherwise, to sit there for a trial about a quid pro quo that never happened. Brilliant move, Dees. Dees. My friend Tom Rizzo would get the rest. Nice move, D's. D. Nice job. You guys and ladies are brilliant. Pull your 3 of your top tier candidates off the stump and stick them up on Capitol Hill to listen to a bunch of garbage. Well done. 2 thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert say 2 thumbs up for the stupidest movie of the year. Let's go to reason number 4. I kind of alluded to this before, so I don't need to beat this dead horse. GOP unity. As they allude to in the Federalist piece, and I spoke about before. Listen, the one time the GOP and conservatives in general have been most united and powerful was during the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. That was a process controlled by Senate Republicans, not the House, and the picture that emerged was of a qualified man being hounded on the basis of politics, not evidence. Well, that could repeat itself again if McConnell repeats what he did in the Kavanaugh hearings and stays strong on this. And there is no evidence, none, that he's ready to buckle. We've talked about that before. Again, no need to beat that one to death. Mm-hmm. Let's go to reason number 5 because I do have a lot to get to today. They'll lose. Reason number 5, they're going to get smoked. The odds of winning are not good. Quote, notwithstanding the television spectacle we'll all be treated to this week, the Democrats have already made their case to the American people and to the Republicans. Their dream of a few short weeks ago that cracks would emerge, Joe, in the GOP and senators would start turning on Trump is now dissipating rapidly, I'll add, as the dawn rises over an actual vote on impeachment. You'll lose. What are you going to do? Impeach him again? Part 2? The Empire Strikes Back of impeachments? You're going to have like Schiff dressed as the Emperor Palpatine comes back. Maybe a Return of the Jedi, maybe a 3-part impeachment. You're going to impeach him. The impeachment part, Naked Gun 33 1/3. What was that? The Final Insult? That was a movie, right? Is that what it's going to be? Impeachment, Naked Gun 33, the final insult to Trump. What are you going to do, impeach him a 3rd and a 4th time? You trying to set the record for dopey impeachments? As if the American people haven't lost all faith in our government yet. You can't win an election. Yeah, let's impeach him again. Let's go with round 2, maybe 3, maybe 5. Why not? Screw elections. Impeach him here, impeach him there, impeach him everywhere. We got a January impeachment. We got a February impeachment. We got a summer impeachment. We got the fall festival impeachment. We've got the winter gala impeachment. We've got the spring. Joe, we've got the autumn glory impeachment in Western Maryland. We'll have a special impeachment where we can watch the leaves turn. We'll have the spring impeachment. It'll be sponsored by an allergy company. Clarendon sponsoring the spring impeachment with the pollen. You can have the cherry blossom impeachment in D.C. The cherry blossom. We'll have the cherry blossom impeachment. You can have the July 4th impeachment. Independence Day from Trump. It's the July 4th. You can have the Christmas, the Thanksgiving impeachment, sponsored by the turkey companies. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Impeachment time. Turkey time. You can have impeachments for everything. You can have a Columbus Day impeachment. You can have a Kwanzaa impeachment, a Hanukkah impeachment. You can have like a Festivus impeachment from Seinfeld. You can have the Festivus impeachment poll, the airing of grievances. Let's just do it all over again. Do you realize the trap, the rabbit hole these idiots are falling down? Wait, we got the Dave the Cricket guy sound machine. Here's the worst quality sound effects ever, but that you get the point. You're going to lose. You don't have the votes in the Senate. You don't have anywhere close to the votes in the Senate. And one more point before we move on. God forbid, and I do mean God forbid, because this would be catastrophic for the Democrats. A Democrat on the Senate side doesn't vote for impeachment.
Oh.
And just one.
Oh.
And 0 Republicans? Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, now you have a bipartisan effort, tautologically, fact-based bipartisan effort. If no Republicans vote for it and just one Democrat, you have, by definition, a bipartisan effort to not impeach the president, which overrides every single Democrat talking point you have heard thus far. Oh, it gets better, folks. Don't go anywhere, please, for this show. I mean it. Sometimes I'm not messing with you. The end of the show, the only reason I got to this first rather than this other stuff is because this impeachment thing is going on right now. Kent is talking now, and I want to make sure I get this stuff out to you so you're prepared. Please don't go anywhere. All right. Today's show also brought to you by our buddies at Harry's. Clean shave. You like that? Joe loves Harry's. Joe was a Harry's user way before, right, Joe? Before we even had him as a sponsor. Already. Harry's Razors. That's the way to go. Visit harrys.com/Bongino. Get your free trial set today. Why does Harry's matter? Why do I use Harry's? Folks, I have to be on at 2 separate times during the day. When I say on, I mean on camera. For this show, which I love. This is my pride and joy. And then at night, I go on. My other job is Fox as a contributor, and I do primetime with Hannity, Ingram, Tucker Carlson, and others. Well, having to shave twice a day was getting to be a chore. I was cutting myself a lot. You probably see some of them in the mornings in the older shows when I wasn't using Harry's. And then we got Harry's Razors, solved all of those problems. Human beings have been shaving for thousands of years. What's the secret to a great shave? Well, it hasn't really changed, folks. High-quality blades. You don't need flexi balls, time machines, heated handles, flux capacitors, the Back to the Future car. You don't need any of that. There's all overcharging nonsense, gimmicky features that don't do a darn thing. You know what matters? A sharp, durable blade. You know what matters even more? A great price. I love Harry's. There's nothing else I'd use at this point. Harry's is a return to the essential. Quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per blade. They've cut out the middleman. They have their own blade factory. It's been honing precision blades for a century in Germany, which means you get incredibly high-quality blades at factory direct prices, no middleman. Harry's is super convenient. The blade refills are delivered directly to your door. You don't have to think about it. With or without a subscription. There's no risk for you to try them out. None. If you don't love your shave, let them know. They'll give you a refund. Candidly, I have not gotten any ever complaints, but ever. People love this product. I've got nothing but positive reviews into our email about Harry's. I wouldn't spin your wheels. It's a great product, great razor. Listeners of my show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/Bongino. You'll get the weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated. I have it inside. I'm actually running out. Got to get some more. Really nice. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and free from nicks and easy to grab on the go. Go to harrys.com/Bongino. Get your free trial set today. harrys.com/Bongino. Go check it out. Best razors out there. Best razors, great price. harrys.com/Bongino. Check them out today. Okay. So, folks, this whole fiasco and farce is being led by a band of far-left lunatics who are covering up a couple of things. I've described them at length in prior shows. They're covering up an ongoing soft coup attempt to remove President Trump from office, not through elections, but through bureaucratic media collusion, spying, and the weaponization of intelligence, national security, and law enforcement operatives. That makes sense? They're weaponizing the swamp to remove Trump. That is, this impeachment farce is an effort to cover that up by accusing Trump of what they're doing, in turn with the bootlicking acolyte media who will follow the focus point tested talking groups they're fed to by Schiff and Swalwell. Showing you, though, how ridiculous this impeachment is. I want to just play a quick soundbite of, I think, possibly the dumbest man in Congress. And that's saying a lot because the collective IQ up there is probably sub 90. Swalwell's probably sub 60. He is one of the dumbest human beings I've ever seen. He is a soundbite machine for stupid. This is the guy who threatened to nuke the guy on Twitter. Remember? We've got the nukes, man. Yes, that's how dumb Swalwell is. Oh, Dad, yeah, I don't really care. This guy is he's one of the main players in this soft coup attempt. The guy's a lunatic. He was on, I don't know, CNN or whatever. Listen to this pure idiocy. He is suggesting in this clip that one of the primary powers of the executive to appoint his ambassadors subject to confirmation of the United States Senate and remove them if they're not enacting the foreign policy regime that people voted for in the president. He's suggesting that somehow the actual power the president has is an abuse of power. That's like suggesting the umpire in a baseball game is abusing his power because he's calling balls and strikes. That's how stupid Swalwell is. Listen to this cut right here. This is just his expression of his own genius.
How important is a quid pro quo, period, in order for you to make your case in an article of impeachment?
It's an abuse of power to remove an ambassador for political reasons because you don't like what they're doing, period. It's a gross abuse of power if you ask a political ally like the Ukrainians to investigate your opponent. It's a gross, extreme abuse of power if you leverage a White House meeting, which may not seem like much to us as Americans, but to other countries, that's the most important thing you can get. It's an extraordinary abuse of power if you if you remove an ambassador the way the president did, ask for investigations, leverage a White House meeting, and $391 million in taxpayer dollars. That's what we're investigating.
Republicans say maybe that's all bad, but it's not impeachable.
Well, that's not America either if we allow that to happen.
So just let me be clear on this, because this Swalwell really is a numbnuts like I've never seen in my life. Swalwell is suggesting that if the president of the United States, whether it was Obama, Bush, Clinton, it doesn't matter, Trump, that the president, who is constitutionally obligated to be our lead representative for the United States in foreign policy negotiations, can propose treaties ratified by the Senate. You know, I'm assuming Swalwell has read our basic legal founding documents at some point. He's suggesting that if the president, let's put Obama in there, because I know when it's Trump, liberals especially listen to the show go crazy, and they lose their sense of common sense and even decency at most points. Let's say Obama appoints an ambassador to to Russia, and Obama wants to engage in some diplomacy with Russia, say like the SALT Treaty, which I was over there in Prague when they signed it, right? And the ambassador says, that treaty's crap. I'm not going to negotiate that, Mr. President. Matter of fact, I'm in alignment with the Republicans, and I think tomorrow we should engage in a nuclear war with the Russians. So, Joe, under Swalwell's line, you can't fire him or her. You can't do it. You have to let the ambassador go do their own renegade foreign policy outside of the channels of executive power. Makes perfect sense to Swalwell because he's an idiot.
We're stuck.
It's an abuse of power to fire an ambassador. You understand they're just making this up as they go along. Now, if Swalwell has some objections, Joe, to President Trump's constitutional power to remove subordinate officers not enacting the people's agenda they voted for through the president, then Swalwell could run for president. Oh, that's right. He already did that. And the verdict is in. He had exactly 0%. Thank you, Swalwell. Sit down, chump. Dude, this is at least a double Muttley. Come on, get it together. This is maybe, no, it's not a triple. It's a double. It's a double. Almost a triple. It's 2.5 Muttleys. Where we talk about the 0.5. But the 0.5 is we talk about an additional Muttley, but we don't get there. It's a 2.5er. 2.5, half a finger. The president can't. This is hysterical. The president's abusing his power by removing an ambassador. This is possibly the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, all right, enough on this guy. We all got dumber even hearing that. All right, I want to motor through this. So I have one last sponsor. I usually read it later in the show, but this is going to be important. This is one of the most important segments I've done in a long time, and it's going to tie a lot of this together. Now, Joe, get your ombudsman hat ready. Paula, put your Vice ombudsman hat on as well. She's like, I'm ain't no Vice. I'm not sitting there. I don't work subordinate to Armacost. For this one, you have to be Vice ombudsman, okay? Before we get to that, today's show brought to you by our buddies at Simply Safe. Folks, we just installed Simply Safe in our house. We love it. Simply Safe, by the way, is SIMPLISAFE. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafe.com/Dan Bongino. We just installed the security system in our house. Paula, how long did it take you? About an hour. She's putting up the one finger. About an hour to install it. Super simple. I hate to say this because I love my wife, but I gave her zero help at all. It wasn't intentional. I fell asleep. I woke up. We had a security system in my. It was really that simple. I'm not messing with you. She installed it, about 10 o'clock at night? By 11, I was already snoozing. Listen, according to a Gallup survey, Americans worry more about burglary. This is crazy than almost any other crime. Listen to this, Joe. More than mugging, more than terrorism, more than car theft and murder. Listen, nobody wants their personal space invaded. That happened to me. It was bad, really bad. That's for another story. According to studies, just over 10% of break-ins are planned beforehand. The rest are spur of the moment. They're crimes of opportunity. In other words, they're random. Do you know most break-ins happen between 6 A and 6 P? Not the other way around. They happen in the middle of the day. According to the FBI, the average loss in a burglary is an astounding over $2,000. That's a lot to recover from. There are over 2 million burglaries reported every year. That's one every 13 seconds. And only 1 in 5 homes, insanely, has home security. Come on. Maybe because most companies really don't make it that easy. Simply Safe is super easy. Easy to install, easy to deal with, great customer service. That's our top choice. Simply Safe protects your whole home, every window, every room, every door with 24/7 monitoring for just a fraction of the cost. One of the other things about it is their police dispatch is up to 3.5 times faster because they use video verification. Folks, there's no contract, there's no hidden fees, there's no fine print. Simply Safe is designed to blend right into your home. There's no wires. There's no drilling. Super easy to order, easy to set up. It's won a ton of awards from CNET to Wirecutter. Prices are always fair and honest. Around-the-clock monitoring is just $15 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/Dan Bongino. You'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose. Go now. Be sure you go to simplysafe.com/Dan Bongino so they know our show sent you. That's simplysafe.com/Dan Bongino. Go check it out. Okay. Now, I want to hat tip before I get started one of my fine sources. One of these days, I'll tell you who 279er is, if he approves, of course. But hat tip our buddy 279, who has always been an excellent source of information. I'm going to tie in some of the stuff he sent me this morning with some of the things I got from someone else and some of the things I got from someone else to paint a picture for you of what the FBI is hiding in their investigation of Trump. Why they're hiding it. You tracking? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And why what they're hiding relates to the fiasco and farce you're witnessing on Capitol Hill right now, where the National Security Council, whistleblower, fake whistleblower, how that relates to everything that's going on, how they generated this impeachment farce to distract you from the Inspector General's report on this Spygate fiasco, which I'm hearing could be troublesome at the least. I'm not going to oversell anything because I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to get into that. Tune in Monday, massive bombshell. I don't know. Right. But I am hearing from credible people there's disturbing stuff at a minimum in there, okay? We'll leave it at that. Disturbing enough that the Democrats had to generate this impeachment farce for you to say, look, squirrel. let's start here. We have been told that the investigation into Donald Trump's team, the spying operation, the counterintelligence investigation, we have been told by the FBI that it began July 31st of 2016, the end of July. Interestingly enough, on a weekend. Wow, kind of crazy, weird, right? So much weird stuff going on in this case. Kind of strange to open it up. They ran it right after meeting with key players in the case, Bruce Orr and others, that one of the investigators in the FBI stroke runs in on a weekend to open up a case against a presidential candidate. Wow, you'd think you'd have to vet that through some other people. Maybe wait till business hours on Monday before. No, it was so urgent they had to open it up on a weekend. Really? Maybe you're opening up on a weekend because you don't want anyone else to know about it. We've been told the whole time, Joe, that date, again, is July of 2016.
Yes.
Why? Why have we been told that? Well, let me just put the lead out in front rather than bury it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I've told you from the start, this was never an investigation into Donald Trump colluding with Russia or his team, ever. This was a setup from the start, marshaled by John Brennan, Jim Clapper, and others, helped along by Jim Comey later, who was a notable dunce in this case. This was a setup of the Trump team to generate a fake crime. In other words, President Trump didn't rob the bank. They sent a guy dressed as President Trump, who looks like President Trump, to rob a bank and fed it to the media. Look, President Trump robbed the bank. It was a setup the whole time. It's a fake crime. All of the fake crime stuff and the setup happened before July 31st. Now, that creates an interesting defense for the FBI and the CIA and others, Joe, when someone like Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, or John Durham, the United States Attorney looking into this whole spying scandal on President Trump, creates an interesting firewall defense, right? If you're trying to hide the fact that you set up the now President of the United States, that you framed members of his team in a fake foreign collusion scandal, look, they're dealing with foreigners. What's your defense? If all of the setup's mechanics, Joe, were before July 31st, your defense is easy. We don't have anything before then. Case didn't start till July. Yeah, but Mifsud met with Papadopoulos in May. Downer met with Papadopoulos. Yeah, we don't know anything about that. It started in July. Thank you. Have a nice day. No, let's not have a nice day. Let's make this a really bad day for them. So Audience Ombudsman Joe and Vice Ombudsman Paula, is this making sense so far? It's a perfect line of defense. Thank you. Getting a thumbs up from there. Getting the hey now from Joe. Mm-hmm. If it started in July, we don't know anything about what happened in March and May. Okay. So if that happened, hat tip 279er for this little gem. Remember, Alexander Downer, the Australian ambassador, diplomat, I should say, to be more precise, given his overall role in this, who's alleged to have started this case with his tip to the FBI in July that, hey, George Papadopoulos told me about Hillary's emails. The Russians have emailing Hillary. Remember, Downer is alleged to have done that, told the FBI about that in July, Joe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's what started this whole thing. Well, what was Jim Clapper doing in Australia in March of 2016 in a secretive visit? Remember Downer, the Australian diplomat, who tells the FBI about this meeting with Trump team member Papadopoulos, where he alleges, Papadopoulos in a drunken stupor, he's since recanted that story, by the way, parts of it, told me about Hillary's emails. He's Australian. Pretty prominent in Australia, by the way. What was the U.S. spy boss, Jim Clapper, doing just months earlier in March of 2016 on a secretive visit to Australia where Downer, who starts this case off, is from? Gee, I don't know. Does that have anything to do with those U.S. intelligence channels to our Five Eyes partners, intelligence partners, who we already know, according to CNN's own reporting, were passing information about the Trump team to the Obama administration? So you know the Five Eyes partners, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, others, our friendlies? We have routine intelligence sharing channels. Remember CNN reported that these intelligence channels, the UK and others, these Five Eyes partners, were basically circumventing U.S. intelligence restrictions on spying on U.S. citizens and even worse, political candidates, and doing the spying for the Obama administration, basically outsourcing, you know, Joe, just of like a spying kind of thing. No big deal, nothing to worry about.
Subcontractors. Yeah.
Subs, yeah. Kind of like we have on the house. Well done, Joe. We had a contractor, he hired a few, one of them was terrible. Yeah. One of them, the worst tile job I've ever seen in my life. These are the worst intelligence, subcontractors for intelligence. Well said, Joe. Sorry, you hit a soft spot with that one. Maybe we'll tell that story another time. Subbing out some intel work. So Clapper is over in Australia, where conveniently Downer's from, right around March of 2016. Right around this time, the plot to set up Papadopoulos, I believe, is being engineered by intel officials led by Brennan and others. Now it gets better. Let's go to this New York Post piece, because this is what we've been told and what's been fed to the media for a long time about when this case started. How a wine-soaked meeting in London sparked the Mueller probe. From the piece. So remember, this is what the media has been. I'm not knocking the Post. The New York Post is actually a pretty decent paper. But this is what we've been told. That Alexander Downer from Australia informed his superiors about this meeting with Papadopoulos, where Papadopoulos alleged to have, they got information on Hillary, the Russians. The Australian guy Downer's like, oh my gosh, I got to tell the FBI. He says, but they didn't, Joe. Remember, the Downer meeting is May 10th with Papadopoulos. But he says they kept mum about it, Joe. Although it was explosive information, all the way up until July 26th. Days after WikiLeaks dumped its first load of Team Clinton emails, which Mueller said had been hacked by the Russians. So let's just get this straight. Downer, the Australian diplomat, prominent one, by the way, meets with a Trump team member, Papadopoulos, in May 10th of 2016, after Jim Clapper goes over to Australia, where Downer's from, in March, when allegations are starting to surface about Five Eyes partners, Australia, UK, and others, feeding information to the Obama administration to spy on Trump. Clapper over there, he goes over there to meet. Just a couple months later, Downer, the Australian, meets with Papadopoulos, gets this explosive, quote, information that Papadopoulos knows about some Russian plot to get Hillary's emails and others, Democrat emails. But he holds it? He holds it till July 26th from May?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Weird. Crazy. Now the WikiLeaks thing happens and boom, Downer's like, yeah, now. I mean, you definitely got to run with this now. Kind of weird how he had it in May and held it till July. Now, if you understand that Downer, I believe, is part of the setup of the Trump team, the framing of George Papadopoulos, of course it makes sense to wait until after the WikiLeaks dump to act like the WikiLeaks dump of emails is connected to Papadopoulos saying the Russians had emails on Hillary. Look, that's what he was talking about. The WikiLeaks, Russians, look, they did it. You dig? Makes all the sense in the world if you're a sucker.
Yeah.
I'll unsucker everybody. Don't worry about it.
All right.
So right around July 26th, around the time of the infamous WikiLeaks dump on July 22nd, all of a sudden we see this flurry of activity. So WikiLeaks dumps some of these Democrat Party emails. We read them. They're pretty devastating, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the guys who've already involved in the activities to set up Donald Trump, and I'll get to how this started earlier. Keep in mind, disconnect for a second the WikiLeaks dump from the setup of Donald Trump. They were going to set up Donald Trump to allege he was colluding with the Russians, as I document extensively in my book, Exonerated, by the way, out now. They'd already tried this on McCain. The plot to set up Trump, the WikiLeaks dump that happened later, they knew it was coming. WikiLeaks had been advertising it. They were only going to tie the WikiLeaks dump into the already ongoing attempt to tie Trump to the Russians and his team. You get it? Don't conflate the two as like one had to happen. If the WikiLeaks dump happened or didn't happen, it didn't matter. They were still going to accuse the Trump team of colluding with the Russians. The WikiLeaks dump, though, was a nice cherry on top for them. Follow me. So right after the WikiLeaks dump on July 22nd, a lot of really interesting things happened. Like this Obama Presidential Directive 41. Oh, look at that, July 26th. The same day, Joe. Crazy that it's alleged that Downer has this explosive information he's been hiding since May, tells the FBI about Papadopoulos and the alleged Russian emails and all this other stuff. Crazy. The same day the White House, the Obama White House, launches this Presidential Directive 41, where they can now coordinate cyber incidents. Listen to the last line. The transnational, you mean like other nations, like Australia and stuff? No, that's not what it, of course not. No. The transnational nature of the internet and communications infrastructure, Joe, requires the United States to coordinate with international partners as appropriate in managing cyber incidents. You mean like the WikiLeaks dump that they've been advertising was going to come 4 days later? You mean like that cyber incident? No, nothing to do with it. Don't you worry. Nothing to do with it. By the way, who managed that Presidential Directive 41?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think it was this guy Ferrante. Yes, there he is, Anthony J. Ferrante, FBI agent at the time. By the way, this is he works for FDI Consulting, or did. This is according to the resume they have there. Prior to joining FDI Consulting, Mr. Ferrante served as director for cyber incident response for the National Security Council at the White House. Oh, he did? You mean where the impeachment farce is coming from? Crazy. He coordinated U.S. response from the NSC to unfolding domestic and international cybersecurity crises and issues. He led the development and implementation, no way, of Presidential Policy Directive 41? Holy crap, what a coinky-dink. How does that happen, dude? Yeah. So a same guy, an FBI agent, who, by the way, is like this with Jim Comey. That is Holmes, them. Yo, Holmes. That is his buddy. They go out for, I'm sure they drink the Moosey, the non-alcoholic beer on Friday. Remember Moosey? I don't even think they drink real beer. Oh, yeah. But they go out for Moosey on Friday nights together. All the taste of beer, none of the downsides. Crazy.
Selfies. Yeah.
So Ferrante, Holmes, Jim Comey's buddy, drinking the Moosies, is conveniently on the National Security Council. The National Security Council, where all of these leaks against Trump are coming from, including the fake whistleblower leak, including Colonel Vindman. They're all coming from the National Security Council. Has access to all of Trump's foreign calls and everything. We already know the Democrats were colluding with the Ukrainians, as reported by Politico, to destroy Trump's candidacy and help Hillary Clinton. Conveniently, Ferrante is the point man for the FBI to implement a new Obama directive 4 days prior to the WikiLeaks release everybody knows is coming, to coordinate with international partners, maybe the Australians, to coordinate cyber incidents like the WikiLeaks email dump? No way. This is all related. No. Washington Examiner has a great piece, by the way, on Ferrante. Holmes. So here it is, by Dan Chaitlin. Watchdog files a FOIA lawsuit against FBI over Jim Comey's spies in the White House. Who does the piece allege is the spy in the White House for Jim Comey? This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. Holmes. Here's Holmes again with his Moosey. The report said longtime FBI official Anthony Ferrante worked as a cybersecurity advisor on the National Security Council and was sharing information about Trump and his aides back to FBI headquarters. Oh, man, is that nuts. Ferrante, this gets even better for Holmes. Ferrante, who after leaving the government, joined the firm FTI Consulting, was hired by BuzzFeed. Oh, no way. BuzzFeed? You mean the ones that put out the fake dossier? Yeah, that BuzzFeed. He was hired to verify parts of Steele's anti-Trump dossier, and now may be tied to an investigation into alleged surveillance abuses by the FBI and the DOJ. Wow.
curses foiled again.
Oh, dude. What? Man, dude. Jeez.
So, just to kind of tie this together, because I don't want to lose you, remember the lead here. The FBI has told us repeatedly, no. This investigation started at the end of July. We don't know anything about any of that stuff in May. Papadopoulos meeting with Mifsud, who Brennan and everyone else claimed is a Russian agent, but we all know is not a Russian agent and was actually a plant by Western operatives to try to set up Papadopoulos. After Papadopoulos meets with Mifsud, who allegedly tells him about some Russian operation to get emails, we know Papadopoulos just days later meets with Downer from Australia, where Jim Clapper just got back from a few months earlier. We know then Papadopoulos, according to Downer's original story, says something about a Russian operation to take down get the DNC emails or Hillary. We know now that allegedly, according to the FBI, Downer holds that information until July. We know now the FBI allegedly opens the investigation in July, but nothing happens, Joe, earlier than July. Mm-hmm. We know then at July 22nd, as WikiLeaks is teasing an explosive release of DNC emails that allegedly Papadopoulos had something to do with, according to Downer and all. We know that the President Obama at the time, in conjunction with an FBI guy, Holmes, who's like this with Jim Comey on the National Security Council, implements his policy directive where all of a sudden they can start working on cybersecurity stuff with these international partners, maybe like the Five Eyes guys that have already been feeding information to the Obama administration and spying on Trump. Mm. Now let's look at WikiLeaks, by the way. So WikiLeaks, of course. There we go, WikiLeaks. Starting on Friday, July 22nd, 2016, WikiLeaks released over 2 publications and 44,000 emails and attachments from top DNC officials, which the Democrats knew was coming the entire time because some of their passwords, Joe, were password. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had good ones like password 1234. Right. Yeah, they were brilliant. That's pretty high tech, biometric, secure, high end authenticated. Was it 2-factor? Was like your 1-factor 1234, and then the 2-factor was password. And then when they send you the 2-factor authentication, they send you something. Did Google then send you password? Is your password? Enter this now. Maybe it was a 3rd factor, and your 3rd factor was 5678. Maybe a 910 to throw it right in there. Don't worry. I'm going to tie this in for you because I know some of you, I'm not sending you down a rabbit hole. I'm going to tie this all into you, but you got to know the dates. What I'm getting at here is everyone knew the WikiLeaks dump was coming. Everyone knew the Democrats were framing George Papadopoulos for a foreign collusion scandal with a fake Russian Mifsud, who was really a Western operative working to set up Papadopoulos. I believe they may have been working with Australians and others to then pull the information Mifsud had told Papadopoulos out of him. I believe they knew about that information and the FBI was working that information a day later after the Downer meeting, May 11th. And I believe they're hiding that by claiming they didn't open up the investigation until July 31st, until after WikiLeaks and after Downer told us about it, even though Downer told them about it earlier. Do you have the text, the stroke page text, Paula? Did I tell you about those? I didn't? There's a series of stroke page texts on May 11th. May 11th, the day after, by the way. I have it on my phone so I can look at some of them here because I actually saved these because I know I'm going to need these for future reference. This is critical. On May 11th, afterwards, what is that? That's the most annoying sound, like a garbage truck. Yeah, I hear it. Guys, we're doing a show here. Come on. Get the garbage another time. We're about to break this thing wide open. Remember, May 10th is the meeting between Downer and Papadopoulos. That the story is none of this was shared. There you go. Paul is good. None of it was shared, Joe, till July 26th, right?
I see.
Because remember, keep that up for a second. The official Downer story, Joe, and the Australian stories, we were so disturbed by the July 22nd WikiLeaks dump that everybody knew about, that just 4 days later, we went to the FBI and said, oh my gosh, we have this information about Papadopoulos. BS. They shared it the next day. Look at these texts. No, Siri, I don't need you right now. This is stroke to Lisa Page. DD, Deputy Director, wants email direct to him when you hear about redacted, obviously. Will do. These are the two FBI investigators the day after the Downer meeting that they say they didn't hear about until July 26th after the WikiLeaks dump. Hey, just sent you a short email. Can you check for tone? He called USSS today. I believe they're talking about the Secret Service. What? I don't know. We'll call CIA tomorrow. Have much to discuss with you later, but will probably be much later. 10-4, but why USSS? The next part's redacted. Okay, redacted. Before or after is fine. Ladies and gentlemen, what the hell are they talking about the next day? Now, to give you a fair and impartial analysis, because I want to do facts here, we don't do liberal nonsense talking points. It's possible they are talking about MYE, mid-year exam, the investigation into Hillary Clinton, which would make sense if they were trying to reach out to the Secret Service. But ladies and gentlemen, that text stream, which I can put more of that up, I can put all of it up, goes way into the night that day. Folks, who sent a cable? A diplomatic cable? Oh, that's right, the Australian government, the day before, about a Downer meeting with Papadopoulos. I thought they didn't hear about it until July 26th. Funny how all of this is emanating from the very same National Security Council where Ferrante worked, the FBI guy, Holmes, like this with Comey, Moosey guy. Funny how all of that's emanating from the National Security Council. What appears to be a deep state plot to set up the Trump team using Mifsud and Downer to claim that they didn't know anything about it until July, when in fact they knew about it the whole time, to use the WikiLeaks dump everybody knew was coming as an excuse to retroactively say, no, we didn't do anything until WikiLeaks and Downer happened, to cover all their stuff, all their setup. And then to implement a policy to make it seem official, run by Holmes on the National Security Council, to coordinate with partners to provide a cover story as to why they're working with Five Eyes partners to set up the Trump team. Now, Joe, do you have the Nunes translator handy? We may need that.
Yes, I do. Tell me when you need it, babe.
Implement Nunes translator now.
Initiating Nunes translator, Dan.
Thank you. Superstar Devin Nunes, who has been a rock star on the Spygate case and who shredded Schiff and his nonsense before in the impeachment probe, which was great. Devin Nunes, you always have to kind of pick through what Nunes is saying. Nunes knows, Joe, that the key to this whole decrepit saga is uncovering the fact that the FBI is lying about when their investigation started in an effort to cover up the framing of the Trump team that happened before July, Mifsud, Downer, and others. I want you to listen with special attention to this clip from July of Devin Nunes on Shannon Bream's show on Fox News. And listen to what he says right at the end about the seasonal nature of when he believes this investigation. Well, Joe, wait, one quick thing before we start. July is in the summer, right? Just checking?
Yeah.
Thank you.
July,
Thank
summer.
you. Very good.
Cool.
Critical skills. Listen to when he thinks this thing started.
Supposedly, the FBI claims that they didn't have any of this until the fall, right before of 2016, before they got the FISA warrant. You really have to go back to the end of July of 2016 when the FBI opened up this investigation. That's not true. That's a lie.
That's not true. Nunes is pretty crystal clear. I'm sorry, I could cut off the end. It's the spring. Spring, summer. Spring, summer. Why does any of that matter, ladies and gentlemen? You think Nunes is wasting Shannon Bream's time? Why do you think Nunes is so focused on it? Seemingly, Joe, an administrative oversight at best, right? The opening date, who cares? It opened July 31st or June, who cares? Because, folks, the setup of Donald Trump, vis-a-vis Mifsud, others, Western intelligence partners, trying to frame Donald Trump for an email incident via WikiLeaks that was going to expose the Democrats. They knew was coming. The framing of Donald Trump started a whole lot earlier. And the WikiLeaks dump was only another excuse to pin yet another incident on the Trump team that they had absolutely nothing to do with. Convenient how this is all emanating again from the National Security Council, the CIA, the upper levels of the FBI, the same people who have been eager to cover this whole mess up. Now you understand what the IG report, what I think is going to be exposed next week, and why you have an impeachment fiasco farce meant to cover up all of their malfeasance and get the media where they need to be, back to attacking Donald Trump. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Please subscribe to my newsletter for what I hope to be a big announcement shortly. You'll hear about it first, Bongino.com/newsletter. You can also get on top of our new news aggregator for conservatives, real conservatives, which we're really proud of. We're putting a lot of money into it. Bongino.com/newsletter. Sign up today. You're not going to want to miss this. And stay tuned for our first interview show. This is going to be a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, today's show is brought to you by our buddies at Brickhouse Nutrition. They make one of the finest nutrition supplements out there. Hey, here it is. Field of Greens. Field of Greens. Now, you'll notice that's empty. Why is that empty? Just like my bottle of Foundation, their other great product. I use this. This is the finest fruit and vegetable supplement out there. This is real food, Field of Greens. This is not cheap extract. This is real ground up, healthy fruits and vegetables, the key to a long, great, healthy life. Your cognitive abilities look better, feel better, perform better. Field of Greens, it's your fruit and vegetable insurance. I love it. Use the product twice a day. It tastes great. This is real, healthy, high quality fruits and vegetables. Think of it as your fruit and vegetable insurance for a long and healthy life. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick up a jar of Field of Greens. This is empty. I need some more because we use it, me and my wife too. Field of Greens, available at brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. That's brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick it up today.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.